Good morning. What you're seeing right now is shot on the GoPro Fusion. And today we're gonna review it a little bit. Hands off. So first I'm going to show you the camera a little bit, and then we're going to go out into the streets of Bangkok and get some test shots. As typical for VR cameras, we have two lenses, both record a 180-degree image of the world, and then they're both stitched together into one shot where you can see literally everything. This camera records in 5K at 25 frames or at 3.2K, I believe, at 50 frames. And we're going to play with both a little bit. Definitely bigger than the normal GoPro, but still pretty small. And you can see that actually the biggest part of the camera is definitely the battery. And then inside you have two SD cards. Oh. So the worst thing about this camera straight away is that both lenses are sticking out. So you have to be really careful not to drop it on either side, which is why it comes with this case. And if you're a clumsy person like I am, and if your camera equipment tends to be put down and dropped and whatever, you have to be extremely careful with this little bad boy. So now I'm with Emily.
Hello.
We're about to jump on a scooter and ride through Bangkok. And we shoot a lot of travel, and the thing is, you never know what's gonna happen. We're not on a stage set, and a lot of times before you've pointed your camera for the right shot, it's already over and you missed it. The cool thing about this now is you always see everything and you're never gonna miss any moment, and then in post you can choose the perfect frame for it. So we're gonna jump on the scooter and I'm gonna let this guy roll, and you can get an idea of what kind of visuals come out of this little thing. Ready?
Yeah.
Let's go. Hey, down there. Have the GoPro phone app yet. In the GoPro presentation they show off overcapture and how you can use it on your phone. I have not tried that yet. I'm super excited for it because I think the software is actually going to be a huge part of making this VR technology easy to use and practical to use for the everyday person and people that edit and shoot a lot, as I do. So I am excited for the software. Today is gonna be edited in Premiere with a GoPro VR plugin, which is also still a prototype. Everything is still being worked out because, as I said, this is not out yet. GoPro gave you the camera to me with this selfie stick. It extends out like this and extends back in, and you can also fold it out and then it works as a tripod. I just got to our local parkour spot, and if you're like me, you're into extreme sports, a lot of times you'll do something badass but nobody's around to get that badass shot. Especially if you're doing a difficult line or a combo, you don't want to get it in multiple angles. You want to get one shot that really shows the action clear and beautifully. And with an old camera, you just can't do that. The only way to get everything in one shot is to get a boring angle like this. And nobody wants that. So, for this experiment, I set up the GoPro Fusion right here in the middle of the spot, I'm gonna bust out a little line and then we're gonna review and check out how it turns out. All right, let's give it a shot. How was that? One possibility that excites me is that potentially you can put the camera down in one strategic spot, and then in the edit you can get multiple angles out of that one static camera. So I'm gonna buy some pineapple and see if that idea actually works in practice. Somehow. And we should definitely get one final test shot from the ledge. Ready? How does this look? Alright, now let's throw all this into the editing room and I'll get back to you after I had a look at it. I did have a look at it, so let's do a little wrap up. However, this was more of a first look than a review, now that I think about it. Keep in mind, this camera is still a prototype, so the footage you saw is, I don't know how close it is going to be to the final product, but it gives you a pretty good idea of what this camera can do. And I think another huge part of this camera is going to be the software, because there has been 360 cameras before. What in my mind this does better than other ones is, for one, that the quality is better and that there will be really good software that makes editing that footage very convenient. So it's not just a one-trick pony where you can just make this little planet effect or do a VR video. You actually can use this camera in many different applications. So I think that's what it's going to be awesome for. I've now edited all the footage that you saw in this video, and it still does take a lot of time and the files are pretty big. So it's not a camera that I would use for shooting my whole trip, but it is a camera that I would use for these very special moments where I really want to capture everything, or I want to create this interesting look and get different perspectives. And I personally love these kind of weird, surreal animation style perspectives that you can't do with any other camera. One of my favorite shots from today actually turns out to be the very first opening shot of this video, me making tea, which is such a boring task, but through this camera I made it kind of look interesting and kind of dynamic. And that is what I'm kind of excited about, is to make things that are very normal to us look interesting through this new perspective. And finally, these VR cameras are getting convenient enough in its use that you can actually do it and everybody can make something interesting with it. So yeah, I'm excited for all the final touches to come out, the software to come out, and then hopefully make another video where we play with it a little bit more in detail. What I have realized for myself is that shooting these VR videos, it's not as easy as just putting the camera down and recording or holding it. You do have to put some thought into it. As always, filming is a skill, and figuring out where to put the camera, even on the scooter, does make a difference. Am I holding it far away from me or close? So I'll definitely need a play to get better at using this camera, and then I'm excited to see what footage is going to come out of it. So long story short, this was fun. The footage speaks for itself. I'm excited to see a final version and excited to get better at shooting with this camera. And I'd like to know, what do you think? Do you like the look it gives? You see the footage, is it cool, is it not cool? Is it just gimmicky, or is it actually a badass new perspective? What are your thoughts? Also, would you get the camera, and what would be interesting to shoot with it? Is there anything I should try or I should record and play around with for next video? Because I'm gonna have this around for a bit. Let me know in the comments. I'll see you next time.